had better funds. Brilliant. That's great to hear.
Okay, well, I think we've deliberated offline, so whenever you're ready, we can. I've been called upon to give the feedback, which I'm very, very, very pleased to do. Very happy to do that.
Fantastic. Okay, well, over to you then, Darren. Thank you.
Well, look, first of all, so I've been in this education for 25 years. Those are some of the most impressive presentations I think I've ever heard in my career. For people of your age to create what were 5 very, very competent and really very professional pitch decks is really impressive. So, whatever the decision that's made today, you really need to commend yourselves, because to be able to do what you did, there are a lot of adults who couldn't do that. So, really well done to all of you, because it was a really impressive, and you've set yourselves up so well for the future, because being able to kind of pitch an idea in a realistic and a kind of a convincing way is such a skill, and it's going to become more and more of an important skill into the future. Those people who are most successful into the future will be those who can do exactly what you've done. So well done to all of you. Look, all of your ideas were great. I mean, literally every single one, really original. Nathan, I love the idea of these eco football boots. I think you really understand and outline the problem extremely well. And I think it is a relevant problem as well. I think you went through your financials really, really well. I really like the fact that you didn't immediately say you had 5-star reviews and everything was perfect. I think it's really great sometimes to say we've had these issues and we've learned from them and we're doing something about it. So you did really, really well there. Ollie, as I said when I asked when I gave you a tiny bit of feedback there, it's a genuine issue. I think it's kind of a high volume business. Some of these businesses are less high volume, but I think your business is definitely a high volume business. You'd shift a lot of units. So, you wouldn't actually need necessarily such high profit margins. And to be honest with you, probably wouldn't have such high profit margins because these high volume businesses tend to run with much lower profit margins, but it doesn't matter because you're shifting so many units, but really well done. Xenia's Bakery, yeah, look, great idea. Definitely hitting the kind of what is really fashionable right now, and that's key. You've got to try and work out what are the things that people are most interested in and it's most relevant to into the 21st century, and these sorts of diets definitely. And as I said, I think there's a huge market, not just in the UAE but beyond. I thought you presented very, very well as well. And your tone of voice was excellent when you presented. You were very convincing. Lucian, great idea. I mean, I think there are a number of, there are lots of crypto trading courses out there. I've done enough to know, quite frankly, didn't learn at all. But I think that your one-to-one is an excellent addition. I question the scalability of that. It's very hard to be able to scale a business when you're relying on one-to-one, but obviously there are other ways in which you could look about it as and when you do scale. But the fact you're of an age where you've actually made money from code gives you instant credibility, which I think means that your idea will sell. And Max, your idea was crazy, but I loved it. Really original idea, really thinking outside the box. I think if you could get that right, then I think there's a huge market. I guess my only point would be, it would seem like you'd have an enormously high R&D or research and development cost initially, and that might be something which could potentially put investors off. But I think if you were able to actually get that right, I think it has a huge potential. So I think with that in mind, I think, as we discussed it, and I think because the market is there already, because it definitely hits a point, which is really important, I think because the market research and market validation was so well thought through, but also the financial forecasting was really strong. I think we are actually unanimous in saying that Xenia, your bakery idea would be the one that right now we think comes out on top, and would be the one that we would wish to invest in. That's taking nothing away from it, but very, very well done, because so right, so just how methodical and clear and
so
detailed
much.
the whole presentation was.
Thank you.
Just one more thing before I stop, because I've already probably said a bit too much. I have a podcast which I present on. It's kind of a fairly sort of popular podcast, and the main focus of the podcast is on the future of education. And what I've just seen in the last hour or two definitely is the future of education. I've not been in one of these diverse spaces before. This is completely new for me. I'm a complete noob when it comes to anything like this. But I think that what I've seen is definitely the future. So I've already been chatting a bit with Luca, because I saw his little film and was just blown away by how good that was. And I've been kind of blown away by what I've seen as well here today. So I'd love to invite any of you who are interested. I'll be discussing with Melissa, and any of you who are interested, I would love to have you coming onto my podcast, because I'd love to be able to kind of talk to you all about your experience with Sophia High, your experience in creating these presentations, and how you benefit from this. What is a very alternative form of education, but one I can see is extremely, extremely powerful. So I'm not going to say any more. I just want to say that, that's an open invitation, as I've invited Luca onto the podcast as well. Open invitation from any of you who are interested. You'll be able to get more details from Melissa. I'm happy to share more details with you. But I'd love to get any of you onto my podcast quite soon. Thank you very much.